Hi, I'm Milton Rendell and welcome to Real News Friday. Another big week in sales, 976 sales achieved in West Australia. And a stock on the market at the moment, 9,212. Now that's up 1% and that's 3% above what it was 4 weeks ago. So as I've sort of said to you before, there seems to be a little bit of a build up on stock, but that's sort of, I think, maybe a bit of a catch up and something we're certainly expecting. In terms of rentals, we have 2,843. That's down 5% on the previous week, but basically the same as it was a month ago. Still down 39% of where we were a year ago. Obviously, that means we're still in a balanced market or reasonably good buoyant market for rentals. And a good example of that again will be the Catalyst building, which we are here in Midland. Our apartment building is of 70 tenants, is full. And we have a queue of people waiting to get in. So it's starting to prove the centre of Midland is now becoming more popular. So the developer's done a fantastic job in locating it here. And we look forward to the first stage 2, which will hopefully start towards the latter half of the year. But we're getting some fantastic feedback from the tenants in terms of what this lifestyle is. And in the coming weeks, we hopefully catch a couple of tenants and give you some real feedback of what it's like to live in the Catalyst in Midland. Now, the other day I was having a chat to a few guys in the housing industry, a few of the suppliers out there, and everyone's talking about booms and all the rest of it. One of the interesting feedbacks that I'm receiving is from some of the suppliers. They've got plenty of orders, but they're not delivering. And what they mean by that is that there's a lot of people signing up for homes, but nothing's getting started. And the interesting conversation was that it appears that some of the elements of construction are slowing down, and particularly around bricklayers and those sort of trades, where probably if we look 5 years ago, they were busting for business and busting for work and would get it anywhere, where today there's an abundance of work and they're becoming fussier and the rates have gone up. So some of them, instead of working through, say 3, are now knocking off at 12. So things are slowing down, not from the lack of people, but it's the lack of productivity of some of the people. And this is one of the byproducts that can happen in a boom industry. Now, by the way, not all brickies are like that. It's just as a guide to some of the conversations that have been out there. And that seems to be common with a few trades out there. A few guys that get to their limit of how much they want to earn in a week and say that's enough, and they knock off. Because they're on higher rates, they're pushing for higher rates. But for the suppliers of the building industry, they're finding it frustrating because they're, like I say, they've got lots of orders, but they're unable to deliver because the houses aren't being built quick enough. Now, from an established real estate point of view, that'll be interesting going in the second half of this year. It'll probably drive more people back towards established, and I would expect in the latter part of this year and early next year, we'll have another kick along in terms of buyer inquiry. The release of recent figures for unemployment rate showing WA and Australia is on the improve, and that seems to be a trend, and we expect that will probably happen in the second half. Again, that'll probably contribute to maintaining our economy and moving it forward in the second half. But overall, all still looking very, very good. There's certainly nothing negative we can see happening out there in the marketplace. Thoughts are with all the people over in Victoria currently. It must be again frustrating for you. Hopefully it doesn't wander our way, but overall I think Australia is doing well. I think like everyone else, and I don't know what your thoughts are, but I think everyone's got to get vaccinated as quick as they possibly can and just get this sort of conversation of COVID out of our lives so we can maintain something more normal. Anyway, in the meantime, check out realestateplus.com.au.